Hello, I was asked to put together a tutorial on digging, and so that is what I would like to do right now. So there are three parts to digging. There is the extraction, there is the digging, and there is the care planning. And all three parts of these are things you need to be able to do effectively in order to dig and not kill yourself. So let's start with the first part, which is the prospecting. And I am a 250 digger. I have mastered all 5 lands, so I have all of the nifty stuff. This being said, I don't necessarily use max prospecting options. So for example, I actually have small range. I could go up to 100 in terms of range, but I actually prefer to keep it at 2, mostly because I want the nodes to pop up close to me so that I'm not running 100 meters to actually get to my node when I want to dig. I do have multiple source at maximum, because the more nodes you pop, the longer they stay up, which means the less time you need to spend prospecting. I remember very clearly when I was a lower level digger that I would have to prospect for each and every node. So just be prepared for that perhaps being the way that you're working with it. I do have a wide angle, although I have lots and lots of flags, as you can see, for different things. But that way I can have the biggest option of finding things. Prospection time, the faster it takes me to prospect, the more time I can spend digging. Right now, I'm only doing choice. Initially, you may want to do up to choice. Above ground, you're not going to find excellent unless you're in a specific spot. I prefer only choice because it just stacks better in my bag. If you can have it, the land specialization is good. I have mastered all 5 lands, so I have Atys specialization, which I can use in any land. And then finally, this is not something you would use necessarily at a low level, but when I go digging, I now go digging for a particular material, so I do use the material specialization. All right, so I will hit that. Let me make sure I'm actually at the seed, and then I have the seed. Now, you'll notice that this says raw material source because I do not actually have identification. Let me go back to this. So I could add, it's knowledge. And if I added this, I would know exactly what I am digging. It would probably say choice, I forget which seed it is, but it would tell me exactly what type. But above ground, I know what I'm prospecting for. I know I'm prospecting for seed. So I don't need that. Why spend more focus than I need to? All right. So the next thing is dig. And before I start digging, let me go over the dig action. When you're leveling, the standard sort of general good plan is to do gentle, harmful, and gentle. And you want to do the highest rate and speed that you can do and not run out of focus. All right. Now, you also want to have the land specialization and the material specialization. That just works better on the node, depending on what your focus will allow. I do a type of digging called kill digging, and I'll demonstrate that shortly. But pretty much as you're leveling, gentle, harmful, gentle, especially if you don't have a care planner, is sort of the standard recommended way to go. And if your focus allows, the region specialization and the material specialization. All right, if you don't know what you're digging, you may not want to have this because otherwise it will not let you dig it. The last thing that you want to be aware of is care planning. And the way I dig, I have an alt, and I have my alt do my care planning for me. And he only uses stability, and I'll explain why in a bit. But there is also resource preservation, and you can either have one or the other, or as you can tell here, I have both stability and preservation. This one I actually don't use a lot, and I'll explain why. All right, so I have nodes in front of me. You can tell that they've stayed up a lot because I used multiple sources number 7. All right, so I will pick a node and I will start digging. All right, and as you can tell, you can see these lines. The top line is the timer for the node. I'm going to start Seago care planning so I don't blow up. So the top node is the available time you have to dig the node. The blue line tells you how many bits of material are in the node. I just killed the node, so I'll go on to the next one. The red one is the source life, which is how much longer the node will be alive for. This one is extraction risk, and that is a very, very important line. When this line gets down to 0, the node will explode and either release clouds of gas or explode and you will die. All right. This last one is less likely, and I need to prospect again. But when you dig, and when lots of people dig in the same area for a long period of time, then you will irk the camis. And if this goes down a lot, that you will start to get warnings from the kami who will tell you to stop digging, and if you don't stop digging, they will kill you. This is not something that happens frequently, so really the main line, the 2 lines you have to worry about are the excuse me, are the source life and the extraction risk. Now, I'm actually going to let myself explode. I'm going to move Seago away so you can see what that looks like, because that's fun. You notice that the node is getting red/orange. All right, so we're gassing. And you can see significant clouds of gas. And you can see my health drop. I'm going to run away. I may not make it. Nope, didn't make it. So that is why you want to make sure that you're looking out for your resource preservation. Now, one thing I don't know if you noticed was that Seago's focus was going down and as he was care planning, and it was not coming back up. And that's because Seago is not in team. So it is very important when you have someone else doing your care planning that you invite them to team so they get their focus back. All right. So let's go back to digging. Okay. So so Seago is care planning. I am digging. We need to make sure our care planner is in team. And then the last thing I want to go over is kill digging. Seago cannot care plan unless he has a pick equipped. All right, so I'm going to stop digging for a second. You can see it got red there. And here's what I do. Now, I have a very expensive dig action, right? I'm using the highest speed, I'm using the highest rate, and I'm using the highest quality. And I'm also sticking with our gentle, harmful, gentle, which I talked about before. Now, that uses a lot of focus. And so if I were to dig and I pause through this node, I would run out of focus long before my time ran out. And that is why when I have Seago care plan, I only have him care plan ground stability, because my goal is actually to use the source life as my timer. And the idea here is that I let the node die right before I run out of focus. All right, or in this case, I'm going to run out of mats. I hit 250 quality, so now I'm going to use a really aggressive stanza, which I've named Die, to kill the node off. And I need to dig some, prospect some more. So when I'm digging, I'm looking at the source life and I'm looking at the quality of the mat. I'm not too worried about anything else because I've got Seago making sure I don't explode. If I didn't have Seago, I would actually do that myself with my own care planning things. I'm looking at my focus, that's getting low and that's not dying, and I've got 250, so now I'm going to crank up the damaging, and you can see that's getting a little iffy there. But there we go. Now I can kill off the node and get my materials. All right. So hopefully this gives you an overview of how to prospect, what to put in your prospect, how to dig, how to keep yourself from exploding and dying. And later on when your dig actions become expensive, how you can work around that.